Vijay John-Britto. I'm a customer engineer at Google, and I've been helping customers to enable digital transformations with application data and security modernization. Today, I'm here to talk about why Google Cloud is the customer's most trusted cloud platform. So here is a high-level agenda. We quickly see what are the attacks the enterprises are facing today, and second, we see how Google handles security, which everyone is curious to know, and third one, we'll see how can you make Google's world-class security to your security? What is the security platform on the portfolio we have? And finally, how can we help you modernize your security? So let's quickly look at what are the security attacks customers are facing, which most of us already know. We all know the ransomware Colonial pipeline attack last year, which halted the fuel pipelines for a couple of days, and there are so many implications after that, and there are so many other attacks after that. Even last week, there were the cyber attacks closed schools and jails in New Mexico. Which puts our children under threat and also our safety. And on top of the COVID surging, the healthcare workers are facing these cyber attacks, which make them not access patient data and also COVID-related data, which is really difficult. On top of already overwhelmed healthcare workers. And we all know this Log4j flaw attacks, which many are trying to exploit the vulnerability. Not only that, what is coming is as per Cybercrime magazine, the cyber attacks are going to cost between $2 to $10 trillion in the coming years, which is huge. If you can quickly see how does this attack work, because we want to go to the bottom line and what are the various sources and methodology. Usually these attacks happen as a phishing email with an attachment, a URL, or even with the software libraries, what we have seen with the Log4j, software secure chain attacks. So once the attackers gain control, they have the encryption key and start encrypting the network and the files and start demanding the ransomware. We see that in 2020, this is the trend that we have seen, 43% package outdated vulnerability, close to 30% weak passwords. And then 84% of the companies have a risk of vulnerabilities that are accessible on a network perimeter. So once the hackers get access to the network, they're able to exploit the whole enterprise. 47% know that they had vulnerability in production, and then 46% did not know they have vulnerability in production. And also, it takes only 15 minutes, average time of 15 minutes for anyone to push a private key to the GitHub. What our customers are specifically struggle with, right? We know all of this are happening. What are the challenges all our customers face? There are too many false positives. We all have alerting system, monitoring system, but which one is right, which one is wrong? That is the biggest challenge. With COVID, the workforce is hybrid. It's not confined within our enterprises and offices anymore. So people work from different locations, different devices, different timings. How do we control all that? And then attackers are fast. The investigations are not. Attackers are working day and night. How can we keep up with them? And also, there are undetected threats. How do we there are tons of data, there are gigabytes and petabytes and terabytes of data. How can we make a valuable insight out of the data? And also too many tool proliferation, right? So which tool to use, which one is right? And then the challenges in data retention. You all might be wondering how Google handles security. Because Google has 9 customer-facing product with billions of users. Each and every one of us use every day. I mean, no wonder we are being attacked every day from various sources. How do we tackle that? So I think recently we were excited to share some of the details around the size and types of DDoS attacks that happened in last 5 years. One of the biggest attack was the one happened around 2017. So that is around 2.54 TPBs of bandwidth. And another HTTP attack which happened is around 6 million HTTPS requests per second. I mean, which is unimaginable. I mean, how do we tackle that? Other thing is, as we all know, I mean, Google has announced that it is investing about $10 billion to advance cybersecurity. So these are the three key themes in Google for security across our products: trust nothing, detect everything, and protect everyone. I mean, trust nothing is based on our zero trust approach, zero trust architecture, and then detect everything, right? I mean, how do I get all the data from all the devices, from all the sources, from going back in time and get intelligence out of that? And finally, protect everyone, right? So how can we protect our customers and all the public? So that's our key themes for security. And also, like Google has the largest threat observatory. I mean, massive amounts of data, files, URLs, domains, and then also it has been crowdsourced real time, and then it can go back to history of 2004. So which is really helpful in detecting this threat ahead of time and be prepared. So our systems and services are built in defense in depth by default and at scale. Data is always encrypted and then at rest and then transit. It's a custom built hardware. And then zero trust, authentication and authorization, and then secure software supply chain. So zero trust model is basically based on this items. Basically, it's not only user identity. We cannot just rely on username and password anymore. It's user identity and device identity. Is it a corporate device? Is it a personal device? I mean, what kind of authorization authorities the user can have in those devices, and then mission identity, what service the user is accessing. Now it's code identity. I mean, what code? I mean, right? So it's the right identity, accessing the right mission, authorized by the right code, accessing the right data at the right time and context. So it's more of a context-aware protection than just username and password and network protection. So next thing is, how can you make this Google's world-class security your security? So Google security is again built on this security and resilience framework, which is based on NIST CSF, the Cybersecurity Framework, National Cybersecurity Foundations. So we have solutions, product, or technical capabilities to cover every domain in the framework. How do I identify? How do I protect? And how do I detect everything? How do I respond and recover? So all these, I mean, all our products and services are built on top of this framework. So these are the tools in high level to make Google's world-class security your security. So from Zero Trust Beyond Corp Enterprise, which was released recently, a couple of years back, it's very new, and ReCaptcha Enterprise, which is to prevent fraud and fight malware at the B2C kind of applications, and also cloud IDS and cloud armor for your L3 to L7 level of control, and the Google Security Analytics, which is secure, which helps customer to tackle security at scale with a massive amount of data growth and the telemetry. How we can detect everything and then hunt at Google speed. That's what Chronicle helps. And also, I think the Google Cybersecurity Action Team was recently announced. So that helps in the digital transformation, security modernization, and as advisory council to the customers. And so, software supply chain, which we all know, binary authorization is one of our key service, which is used in GKE and for authorizing our containers before deploying. So we can look at that in detail in the coming slides. So we augment our capabilities with an extensive ecosystem of technology partners. I mean, it's not only us. I mean, all the partner products and services we leverage. So basically, you can integrate what you already have to kickstart your journey with Google Cloud. Let's look at the Beyond Corp, our zero trust security model. I think 10 years ago, I mean, Google realized the VPN is no good anymore. Because once the user get access to VPN, so they can access all the services and applications within the network. So if somebody get hacked VPN, so it's no good. So that's when Google started this project in 2011. So it started as an internal Google initiative to enable every employee to work from untrusted networks without the use of traditional VPN. Basically, it shifts access control from the network perimeter to the individual users and devices, thereby allowing employees to work more securely from any location. This basically transforms work into truly edgeless world. It makes it secure and simple and scalable. So now it has an enterprise option. So basically, they released an enterprise option, as I mentioned before, so which can be used by our customers. So it is built on Google's global network, and it provides simple and secure access to applications, and it offers integrated threat and data protection. So this is a comparison between Beyond Corp versus VPN. I mean, traditional VPN, this is how the user connect to the corporate network through VPN or RDP. But as I said, once the user can, if anybody gets access to the VPN, they have access to all the apps and resources. But with Beyond Corp, so it is a more of a context aware. It's a turnkey solution, zero trust architecture. Basically, authorized users are granted point-in-time access to individual apps, not the entire corporate network. And permissions are continuously evaluated, not only one time, like based on what time the user is accessing the app, from which place, or which device. I mean, for example, let's say a user accessing the application 3 in the morning, and then you try to log in, he or she is trying to log in for 50 times and upload a file. So there is an anomaly. So, and also like there's a confidential application that is usually used by anyone for 20 to 30 minutes. But let's say that the confidential app is being open and used by a specific user for 24 hours, then there is a problem. So those kind of things will be caught in real time by Beyond Corp, and it won't allow users to proceed. And it can also be applied through RDP for users to get into their enterprise network. So this is the high-level architecture of a Beyond Corp enterprise. So basically, it will let your people on the left, your workforce, contractors and partners to access your applications in the cloud or on-premise or internet or SaaS application. It leverage Chrome as for anyone to normally access application and resources. It acts as a proxy and protects traffic from a user's network and allow the customers context-aware policies and rules. That's how like it can find out like what is the user contact location and device to give them appropriate access for the appropriate applications. You may be wondering like, how do I do it? I mean, is it a huge change? I mean, we have been using a VPN traditionally. I mean, how do I shift to or migrate or adapt beyond Corp? We usually meet customer where they are. So in that model, it doesn't require a complete overhaul of our environment, and it can be deployed as a no impact to your existing VPN. You can basically target specific set of users and applications and expand as desired. Right. So any specific, you can just pick a low-hanging application, low-hanging fruit, and then set of users and trial it out. Once you realize the simplicity and the safety of this, then you can gradually basically adapt this to other apps and services in your enterprise. So it can be used by employees, frontline workers, call centers, contractors, consultants, and then based on their access level and then applications. So it can prevent exfiltration of code, or even it can safeguard customer records and PI data for call center users, and also it can secure corporate records from contractors and consultants. So next thing is on the perimeter or the client side is ReCaptcha, which most of you might have come across while browsing. The ReCaptcha V1 is based on technology. It's based on we need to enter some words, and the ReCaptcha V2 is based on images, and then ReCaptcha V3, which is more frictionless. It works on a behavior analysis and a scoring system, so which is also been released for enterprises to leverage. So that can prevent any bot attacks or malware attacks from the client side. So it can be the enterprise can leverage this service to detect abusive traffic on your website without any friction. And then, as I said, it works on a score-based system, and then based on it's almost like a credit check, right? You just have based on different contexts, and it makes a score, and based on that, it would let the users and access the applications. So now from the network and the client side to the application level, what are the services? So one of the services is Cloud IAP, Identity Aware Proxy. So this is a reverse proxy sit in front of all the requests, and then it can help you to centrally manage access to all your applications based on the user. So this one can protect against DDoS and TLS termination, as well as application level security can be enforced at a single point here as a centralized way to manage. And it is almost near a zero latency. Other thing is the VPC Service Control. VPC Service Control is, nowadays, with most customers adapting to cloud and start modernizing their applications with managed services on storage or even BigQuery or GKE and other services. So how do we control the access to that services? That's where VPC Service Control, so which would again enforce context-aware access, and then you can just give access to certain IP or certain set of users from certain geographic locations, or for certain other certain criteria. And all these policies can be managed centrally on the VPC Service Control. Other one I really like is the shared VPC model, which is exclusive to Google. So this with this shared VPC model, you can have the centralized VPC where the networking and then security policies can be implemented, and the all other projects can become a service project to the shared VPC. So this way, the service project doesn't have to worry about network resources like subnets, routes, and firewalls. So all that can be enforced on a shared VPC, and the host project and the service project can be linked to that shared VPC. That way, you have a consistent way to have this networks and security policies established across your projects, across your organization. So the cloud armor is over a DDoS or a WAF. So that is again works between the L3 to L7 layer protection, and it is it has an adaptive protection. So it learns from the pattern, and then it can prevent. I mean, recently I think they even announced especially for the Log4j. There is a feature in the Cloud Armor WAF rule called CV Canary, which can help detect and block exploit attempts of this Log4j CV attacks. So this Cloud Armor customers can deploy the new rule into a new or existing Cloud Armor security policies. So which is really cool. Again, IDS is our intrusion detection system. It is a work on top of Palo Alto Networks firewalls. So it is quick and easy to deploy, and it's operate with high performance, and it's fully managed for to detect any network threat detection with high efficacy. This is a high-level architecture of Cloud IDS, which is, as I said, it's based on the Palo Alto Networks services. Again, I've talked about so many services. I mean, there are so many services and so many sources where we can prevent and detect. I mean, how do I get a holistic view of all this data, and how do I scale? That is our next question come to all of our mind. The challenges, what enterprise faces today is the EDR or emerging XDR solution generate lots of rich telemetry critical for modern threat detection and investigation. But they do not have ways to scale. They're not built for petabyte scale and retention. So that's where Google can help to scale and have the speed. Other challenge enterprise face today is ingestion cost. Basically, you're going to pay for each byte to ingest. The more you want to analyze, the more you need to pay. So you're forced to limit the types of data collected as well as the duration for which you need to retain it. So probably we will end up doing which one to keep and which one to leave. So we might end up leaving the one which are critical. That's where Chronicle can be helpful with a fixed cost ingestion that can extends to high volume from different sources. And the other thing is, even if you collect all the data, how do I make valuable insights of the data? Again, data is in our DNA. With AML and the data analytics capabilities, same principles are applied here. So you can have clear signals derived from massive amount of data to get the alerts at the right time and take action and prevent the attacks in real time. As I mentioned, the security analytics is built on the power of Google, and it can help you to hunt at Google speed. It's a planet scale system for storing and analyzing enterprise security telemetry, and then it can take data from different sources, database, authentication, VPN, firewall, network, you name it. So all this data can be collected in a centralized place from where you can derive meaningful results and take actions. So basically, it helps you to detect advanced threat at Google scale. So it quickly investigate and hunt across years of data. Other thing is, which is a recent news, Google has acquired Simplify, it's a SIEM service. It's going to be part of Google, and it will augment the Chronicle and other services what we have. So other one which I don't want to leave talk about is how do Google do secure software supply chain, because we deploy millions and billions of containers every day, and the container was born in Google. So it's not new. I mean, how do we handle supply chain? It's not only day zero, it's day one and day two. So basically, it starts from right from the source code scanning, and then package scanning, and then we have secure repos, vulnerability scanning. After that, reviewal and binary authorization, which is part of GKE, and which can be used to authorize the containers. You can define policies saying, hey, this container is from this source. For these are the allowed libraries. If the container violate any of the policies, then the binary authorization would not let the container go and stored in the container repository. Not only that, and after that, continuous patching. And from day two, how do we continuously patch, and then how do we scan and monitor, and also and then zero trust and context-aware proxy, context-aware access. All those are baked into our secure software supply chain. So this is the end-to-end application lifestyle. Basically, you start with the trusted images, trusted base images, and then you have vulnerability scanning, and then you have this binary authorization, and then shielded container. Even once you make the container, nobody has the ability to break into container and inject any malicious code or library. And container threat detection and much more before it goes and deployed and to the cluster. So these are three pillars of software supply chain security. There's a vendor risk assessment program, which will, I mean, any new libraries, Spring or Hibernate or Log4j or anything, we can go through that, and how do we control to manage that, and above all, how can we stay up to date? So those things can be part of this software supply chain security framework or exercise every enterprise can adopt. So this is like, I mean, again, we always meet customers where they are and go with the solutions. So this is kind of a portfolio of all our security solutions put together. For a B2C, this is a ReCaptcha Enterprise would help to avoid any attacks from the client side. This Beyond Corp is for zero trust architecture. And then we have Chronicle, which would collect telemetry data from all the sources and then help to basically scale and hunt at Google speed for any threats and take actions at real time. Again, how can we help you modernize your security? So we're going, basically the first thing is we're moving from shared responsibility to shared fate. So we just want to go hand in hand with our customer. We want to optimize your security from day one. We want to help manage ongoing security and compliance in the Google Cloud. The other one is there is a publicly available Cloud Security Foundations blueprint, because most of our customer ask us, where do I start? So that's where we have come up with this security foundations framework. It is on Terraform, so which is kind of open source and can be used. So you can leverage this and kickstart your security foundation, which encompasses all the services as a part of your enterprise security guardrails. And also there are security best practices listed in this. So these are some of the references, like how do we do a day two operation, building secure and reliable systems, and security design overview, which you can check out. So this would help you to get your organization ready to tackle the security attacks. And the other one I want to mention is which was announced recently, the Google Cybersecurity Action Team. This is to support the security and digital transformation of government and other critical infrastructure enterprises, to help them modernize the security as a part of digital transformation. So they can be like a strategic advisory, or they can help you in trust and compliance, and then solution engineering, and then how do we model your threat intelligence and incident response. So it's a world's premier security advisory team, which you can leverage. So just to recap, like, what are our differentiator? I mean, purpose-built infrastructure. I mean, as I said, it's not, security cannot be tackled at the perimeter level anymore. So it has to be tackled at different levels. So this infrastructure, purpose-built infrastructure, and security is by default. And then transparency in access and storage, and also like proprietary control and expertise with Beyond Car, Chronicle, and Google Command Center. And also, like, we can help you to modernize your security, whether you are transforming into cloud or in place. We are there to help to modernize your security. So the way you can engage is you can request engagement via your account team, or ask for a discovery session, or you can reach out to me via LinkedIn. So there are many ways you can engage us. We are happy to help.